All right, so Paul Marcos, we're at the 4-minute mark. I've posted a link on Reddit and also on YouTube and Discord. So this is the Out of Body channel, Out of Body journal, focusing on out of body experiences. My name is Paul Marcos, or Prince Paul Marcos. I've had over 20 years of out of body experiences. My first one was in 1996. And this talk tonight, it's nighttime for me. I'm on the East Coast in the United States. This talk is about the topic of viruses and bacteria in relation to travel into space or off the planet, you know? Okay, so I'm going to Reddit, where I posted the question, and also on YouTube. All right. Let's see. So the topic was, in a galaxy of bacteria and viruses. I'll move this in. Out-of-body travel is the smarter way to travel the universe. So you don't bring back unwanted, deadly things. It's smarter, safer, faster, cheaper, easier. If you wish, you can go out of body. And how strong is your wish? Because your strength of emotion to do something directly affects your ability to go out of body. Because it creates the intensity, it creates the intention, and you create. There's a saying that if I go, then I can go. That's kind of a yoga phrase. If I go, then I can go. Like if you go out of body, or if you go somewhere, then you can go because you gave yourself the permission and you did it. You don't have to ask anyone. I'm going to get a pillow so I can put it behind my back. I'll be back in a minute. All right. So if you have any questions or comments, go ahead. I'm going to continue. So the whole thing about if you go, then you can go is if you're thinking of doing something, what the out-of-body experience tells you is the only meaning behind anything is the meaning you give it. So if you're thinking about that you might need to ask someone for permission to do something, you really don't need to ask anyone about permission to do anything, because if you go, then you can go. If you go out of body, then you can go out of body. You give yourself the permission. It's also talked about belief systems. When you get out of body, there are different places you can go. And if you end up in a certain place, it's usually because you have a belief system or some kind of attraction to that area. All right? So back to this topic about viruses and bacteria. So like with space travel, they talk about before sending a probe to another planet, they want to decontaminate the probe, and it costs a lot of money to build these spaceships, billions of dollars and everything like that. So in a lot of ways, it's pretty expensive to build something and send it to another planet. And guess who pays for it? The taxpayers. They pay for these big spaceships. And then you have like NASA, and they're really a government. They're a defense company. In one way it's a public company, but also it's a defense company because there's a lot of secret stuff that they do. So in a sense, you're paying for these expensive ships as a taxpayer, and then you don't get the benefits because it's a black project. And only the people with, like the corporations who are involved with those government kind of aspects of those programs, they get the information and they make the profit. And then maybe 20, 30, or 100 years later, you'll get some of the benefits from it. But immediately, the black area and the people involved in that kind of deception will get the benefits of the money that you gave for that program. So it's cheaper just to go out of body. You can learn to go out of body in less than a year. It won't cost you billions of dollars. It'll cost you, I don't know, however much you think it'll cost you. Probably less than $5,000. It'll cost you your time and effort to learn about your energy, the energy in your body and around your body, and to evolve your belief system. You don't evolve your body. Your body's already evolved. You're just evolving your belief in your capability to do it, and you're opening up your energy pathways so that you can do that. So it's smarter to go out of body because you're not going to bring back or infect another area. You're not going to pollute the environment when you jump off in this spaceship, you know, these big rockets with all their pollution and everything. So you're not going to waste a lot of money. You're not going to pollute our environment here on Earth while you go to another planet with your tiny probe. And it's faster because you can go there in an hour. You know, you can go there. However long it takes you to meditate and get into that state where you can go out of body, then you can go to any other planet you want to. So it's safer. It's safer. I mean, you don't have any. You know, these rockets have all these different kind of things that can go wrong and they'll explode. Whereas you just have to lay down, relax enough, and go out of body, and you can go to any place in the universe within an hour. So it's faster. It doesn't take years to get there. It doesn't take years of planning. You don't have to do any math to get there. You just have to relax, enter the most comfortable, beautiful place that you can go, and because out-of-body experiences are super exciting. I mean, you don't have to study and build something and smelt the metal and pay a lot of contractors and shuffle a lot of things, and then finally get there 2 years later or 5 years later, or, I don't know, 20 years later. So it's faster, it's cheaper, and it's easier. So if you wish you can go out of body, if you really wish you could go out of body, how strong is your wish? All right, so I'm going to look at some of the comments on Reddit. This is the astral projection Reddit, subreddit. All right, some guy is into being happy with smaller things. Another person says you can go to another dimension that could be negative. So Franklin 20 says you can go to another dimension that could be negative, and you should try to contact a spirit guardian before going out of the planet, in my opinion. Well, if you want to give your power away to another person, and a spirit guardian who you maybe you have a relationship with somebody out of body already who you consider a guardian and maybe a helpful being, and you can rely on someone else in that way if you want to. But again, if you go, then you can go because you already went. You don't have to ask anyone. If you end up in a negative dimension, that's only because you weren't skilled enough to go where you wanted to go. If you want to go to a planet or a certain area or a room, or if you want to see something, you can go there. You don't have to veer off into some negative area. So I would ask Franklin 20, have you ever been out of body? Because once you go out of body, you learn that that stuff doesn't just happen. You have to want that to happen for that to happen. If you want to go somewhere out of body, you'll end up there. You'll go. It's. Another person says, a man of the North says, are we in body to begin with? If somehow it is so, then soon we will be able to set ourselves in an AI simulation free from bodily requirements if we aren't there already. So the places we can go now, the places we will go then. So a man of the North says, are we in body to begin with? Okay, well that's a decent question. It's not a great question, but there's a there is what you can learn is that there is a being that has always existed throughout all time and throughout all the universe. There's a being that doesn't change and always exists, and you can conceptualize that everything in the universe is part of this being, all right? And this being has, conceptually, this being has a body also. So everything, all the solid matter in the universe is also part of this being because it's a body, it's alive. So It's also without a body. It has an aspect of itself which is just pure awareness. And then as a thought, you are a thought of that being, or you are that being, but when you attach identity or individuality or personality to yourself, then you separate your identity from your larger self, which is that being. So your question again was, are we embodied to begin with? So you are an aspect of that being. You are the being, right? And so are you embodied is you've narrowed your focus to yourself as a person, okay, and you said this other stuff isn't me. So yes, you're embodied. You're specifically focused on the matter that you're inhabiting, that you're mostly inhabiting, that your personality has identified as itself up to now. All right. So yeah, you, the being that exists everywhere, are also existing in a form right now. So you're in a body. You're in the form that you associate with. Okay, if somehow it is so, then soon we'll be able to set ourselves in an AI simulation. Well, why would you want to set yourself in a simulation? I mean, with a virtual reality, if you want to free yourself from bodily requirements, then that's going to happen eventually when you die. So there's no reason to rush that. It's going to happen. I mean, you're in the place that you are right now, and it's the most powerful place for you to be. Otherwise, you'd be somewhere else. So yeah, you can go out of body, but wherever you are right now is the most powerful place for you, because otherwise you'd be somewhere else. So yeah, out of body stuff, you're free from bodily requirements, and the places we can go now, the places we will go then. Yeah, when you get out of body, you can go to so many different places. It's amazing. Okay, Swoder says, what if you enter a plane not the same as ours? Not logical. So let me see what I said again. In a galaxy of bacteria and viruses, out-of-body travel is a smarter way to travel the universe. And Swoder says, what if you enter a plane not the same as ours? Not logical. Yeah, there's multiple planes. And if you want to walk around in the world that our physical body is in right now, you can walk around in town, and you can talk to people who are still in their bodies. I've done that at least once, and I've had people answer me. I don't know. I walked into a store one time, and I asked a lady at the register a question, and while she was talking to somebody else, she was in her physical body, so all of her bodies were overlapping with her physical body. She was present in her physical body. She was answering somebody else who was also in their physical body, a customer. And another part of her is also aware, subconsciously. She's not aware of it consciously. She didn't know I was there in the astral body, but she answered me because another part of her is also awake at these other levels, even though she wasn't consciously aware that I was there. And she answered me simultaneously while she was answering somebody else through her mouth. She was talking to somebody, and she answered me also. Another part of her answered me verbally. So, what if you enter a plane not the same as ours? Not logical. Yeah, I mean, if you want to walk around in the physical world, in your astral body, you can do that. But also, you can go to any other dimension you want to go to. The universe is a big place, and the multi-dimensional universe is even bigger. So again, in a galaxy of bacteria and viruses, out-of-body travel is a smarter way to travel the universe. So you don't bring back unwanted, deadly things. I mean, what if you go out of body, you meet, imagine this, we go into the solar system with a spaceship. We find a negative civilization, and they have rockets, and they have all kind of other stuff. And they become aware that we are aliens to them. And they decide to travel back and find out where the spaceship came from. And then, Maybe they bomb the Earth, like they do in some of the, there's some like Stargate Atlantis, or some of the TV shows out there, and the civilizations are always battling, But if you go out of there, if you go out of body and you go to these planets, you can find out everything you want to about these other civilizations. Maybe they're not as evolved as you, because now you have the ability to go out of body, which many of these TV shows don't show the ability to do that. And you can get, you can safely get any information you want. And you can even go to the happier places where there are beings who are beautiful and kind, and you can have a better relationship than you would if you just went out wandering around the universe trying to find a benevolent civilization. So it's safer. It's definitely faster, and it's definitely cheaper, and it's definitely easier. So if you have any comments, post them on YouTube. I can check the messages there also. Okay. So what if you enter a plane not the same as ours? Yeah, there's no problem in entering another plane, because once your body has to go to the bathroom, it'll call you back to your physical body, and you'll have to go to the you'll go to the bathroom. The difficulty isn't getting lost while you're out of body. The difficulty is staying out of body long enough to actually have a meaningful experience. Because if you get out of body and you're a newbie and you haven't really been out of body many times, if you achieve an out of body experience, it's an achievement. It's not something that's like easy to do. It's an achievement. And if you've had an out of body experience, that's you've accomplished something. You've changed your whole world, because now you know that all these people who say that the out of body experience is bullshit, you just kind of wiped them out, and you went to the head of the line because you found out that they don't know what the hell they're talking about. The out of body experience is transformative for that very reason. All these people who talk about there's no life after death, and you just die, and there's nothing more than the physical world. All these scientists and experts, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. All right? All these high-paid scientists in the all around the world, in the government, in the military, and in all these institutions, and all these psychologists who don't know anything about the out-of-body experience, and they think it's just something in your brain. These people just haven't relaxed enough and had enough focus and dedication to find out the answer for themselves. They're just following what all the other people have said over the eons and thousands of years of time. All right, I'm going to check YouTube and see if there's any questions on the live stream. If you have any questions, just type them in. All right. And what else am I going to? Oh yeah, there's a few other things I wanted to talk about today also. And I'll get to them in a few minutes. Okay. There are something I wanted to talk about also is there are these places that charge you thousands of dollars for a week or 6 days to go to a workshop and to be with other people, and it's a valuable and a useful kind of thing to go to. But what you have to know is they don't provide you with a map. They don't show you that the potential. They don't show you that. They try not to tell you what could or could not happen, and they don't. Let's see. What I'm trying to tell you is, for me, what I tell you here is that there's 3 types of out-of-body experiences and out-of-body experiencers. There's the stage 1 out-of-body experiencer who just kind of goes out of body for the first time or for the first 50 times and learns to move through the walls in their house. There's a second stage out-of-body experiencer who learns to go outside of their house and go off the planet and go into the planet and meet other beings and other races and travel the universe. So that's the second stage of out-of-body experiencer. The third stage of out-of-body experiencer, which many of these places don't tell you about, is the oneness, the people who find the end the out-of-body experiencer finds the source in themselves. When you go out of body, you can go out of place. You can go out and meet all these different kind of beings, and you can go through building. You can go through the walls. You can jump out the roof. You can go into the earth. You can go off the planet. You can meet other races and beings, and you can know things. You can know everything in the universe. But beyond all that stuff is the third stage of out-of-body experiences. And that's when you go out, when you meet another being, or you're in a form, or you're in a ball of energy, or there's no form, you're just an awareness. And maybe you meet another being, and instead of communicating with them or interacting with them or going places with them, in this third stage of out-of-body experiences, you just notice the energy in them. You notice what's coming at you, or you notice what's in them that's the same as what's in you. And you start to have some kind of a weird connection where you're saying, I don't know what the hell is going on, because what I'm looking at is what's looking at me. It means I'm looking at me. Me is looking at me. So you're starting to notice that there's a sameness of the energy. And this is the third stage of out-of-body experiences. This is what a lot of these out-of-body places don't teach you about, because they haven't reached it themselves. Or a lot of these different out-of-body places are, maybe their founders were out-of-body experiencers, but the people who are running the office and running the show, they've maybe never even taken their own programs. They've never gone out of body themselves, or they've only had a few experiences. And they're newbies. They're still in the first and second stage. And it's a bureaucracy. They're trying to make money. They're not going to tell you what their founder found out, because he was a little crazy, and he said things that they weren't up to speed on. And so the third stage of out-of-body experiences is the oneness, and that's the end of the trip. So they want to come out with a lot of different programs, and they want you to sign up for all these different things and spend your money, and they want you to kind of just get involved in stuff. But you don't have to do that. You can go to a Vipassana, 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat, which doesn't cost anything. And you can sit for 10 hours a day with 40 other people. And within a much shorter period of time and for much less money, you can learn to move the energy in your body. And it said that this is what the Buddha taught his people, in the time before he died. Toward the end of his life, this is what Buddha taught. This is the fastest way to do it, to find out the oneness, or the third stage of out-of-body experiences. DHAMMA.org. I went to them. I did a 10-day program in 2014. And I had my oneness experiences over 10 years before that. In 2002, 2001, 2002, I had my oneness experiences, and I became one with the universe, and then there was nothing but the one, and it was it. And that's the third stage of out-of-body experiences. And you can achieve that just by sitting for 10 days. And in that way, you're working with your physical body, you're working with your energy body, and you're getting the answer much quicker. And you're not spending a lot of money. So that's my beef on that. If you have any comments about that, you can just put it in the chat and I'll read it, or make a comment on that. And that's something I also wanted to tell you. And there's another thing I want to talk about also. There's physical enlightenment. If you're on the spiritual trip, right, you should also know that you need to support yourself. And people get into this stuff because they're trying to escape maybe their family, the structure that their family put around them when they were. That's how it was for me. My parents were very strict. My dad was 50 when I was born, 50 years old, and my mom was 30 ish. They were about that age, and they were very controlling. And so I wanted to get the hell out of there. And I think when I was 19, my mind had developed to the point where it could function without activating the body. Meaning, I was great in school. I did a bunch of stuff, and they had me doing all these kind of things. But I was trying to escape. So people who get into the out-of-body experience world are, in my opinion, they're trying to escape. Or another aspect of what I was into was it was a science kind of thing. when I was in high school, I was kind of looking through the NASA stuff with the asteroids and the, different stuff in some of the publications in the library of the high school that I went to. So even at that time, I was curious about science and all this stuff, trying to figure out I was trying to follow the cutting edge or the wave of the NASA science, kind of what I thought was the cutting edge of stuff. And when I was 19, I had my first sleep paralysis experience. So in a way, it was following the most advanced inventions kind of stuff. I was going with it, and so it was trying to escape and trying to go with it. But you should know that enlightenment, there's a physical enlightenment, and there's a spiritual enlightenment. So it's good to have both of those things. And you can support your spiritual enlightenment trajectory by having physical enlightenment. And physical enlightenment means you have family, you have a job, and you are making money, and you wanna make it so that if you do go out of body, when you come back, you're in a life that you enjoy. And you can support your life here, You don't have to, what I'm trying to tell you, you don't have to sever your connection with everything and just go and follow the wave and eventually get the spiritual enlightenment. Because after you get the spiritual enlightenment, if you do it that way, where you sever your connections and you burn your bridges, you'll get the spiritual enlightenment. A lot of people say if by the time you're 25 you don't become spiritually enlightened, then that's it. It probably won't happen in your lifetime, because you'll lose the inspiration, or you'll lose the something will come along that'll mess up your ability to focus enough, or to go with that. This is one philosophy. And you'll lose the focus that you would need and the intensity to find the answer, or to find the answers. And the answer or the answers is the oneness. And I can tell you that because that's what I've experienced, and that's what other people who have reached that point and talked about it and written books and have people following them, that's what they say also. And once you have the spiritual enlightenment, the other side of the coin is the physical enlightenment. And physical enlightenment means being a happy life wherever you are, because you want to have stuff. You're in a physical world. You want to have stuff. So that was my third thing I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna just checking the chat. Hey, Chicago Realty Now. Nice to see you. Yeah, I see you again. Okay. So, what are you up to? Too bad we don't have a microphone for you, because it'd be cool to do that. One of the things I wanted to look at was in the Discord, on the Discord channel, there's a voice. There's an opportunity to use voice or a microphone. You can turn on the microphone in the Discord. So I don't know if you've been on Discord yet, but we should try that out, or I plan to check it out, because I know I've been able to turn on the mic when I'm in the Discord, and I think it's possible that two of us or more of us could turn on the mic and just talk, and then we could skip the YouTube. We could skip the YouTube stuff, or we could do it in addition to the YouTube stuff. I'm going to check Reddit again. If you have any questions, it's probably not going to be more than 20 more minutes for this thing. All right, ask some questions. Sure, go ahead. I'm checking out Reddit also. Oh yeah, you're having problems realizing you're dreaming. Well, the fact that you are dreaming is a good thing. Some people don't dream. Yeah, you just got to keep working at it. One of the things that could be is if you, instead of laying down, yeah, you have multiple dreams. One of the things that could help with that is to start writing them down. When you wake up, write something down. Write as much as you can, and that'll help develop the observer in you. And that'll start to create the connections probably between your waking mind and your other mind. Another thing you can do is you can sit for like an hour. You can get comfortable. It's best if you're gonna sit. Don't lean against anything. Just like sit, cross-legged, or if you're gonna sit on a chair, sit at the edge of the chair. And then just breathe like 1,000 times. And that's like an hour. For me, when I breathe, inhale, exhale is 1. If you do that 1,000 times, that's about an hour. Do you watch yourself sleep at night? Meaning you view your body from a little above yourself. No. Is that something you do? I've been out of body and I've turned around and seen my physical body. But I don't find myself dreaming of watching myself. That would be kind of cool. No. Does that happen for you? If you're doing that, it's pretty cool. It's a technique that you read about. Yeah. Well, another technique I've done is when I was using visualization. I used to do gymnastics when I was a younger kid, and so there was like a high bar, and we'd grab onto the high bar and spin around using our momentum to bring us over the bar, like hands like that. And I used to do that. I used to lay down when I was 19, 20, 21. Sometimes I'd lay down and I'd visualize holding the bar in my hand and swinging around. And then I was able to at least about less than 10 times, but several times I was able to flip out of body by doing that. So you can use different visualizing yourself looking at your body. That's another one. I haven't done that, but for sure you can whatever works for you, whatever you're familiar with, or that'd be good. So about the sitting, if you sit, meaning I guess I'll do this. You can if you're leaning against the pillow, don't lean against the pillow, right? You can just get comfortable with your body. You can loosen your belt, right? Loosen the belt so it's not holding your stomach in. And then you can put your hands in different positions, right? But you want to have your back relaxed. You can also sit on your you can be sitting on your knees if you want to do it. If you want to get up and you want to sit, on the fronts of your legs, you can do that too. And then just breathe 1,000 times. Count the breaths. And that'll develop, what you'll notice is, if you do that in the morning, you'll get tired and you'll want to lay down, because that's starting to push the energy up and out of your head. And if you keep on at it, even though you want to kind of lay down, that'll kind of clear, it works with the energy in your body and the stuff that doesn't need to be there, So, or if you just do it in the afternoon, you won't get tired because your body's already awake, but it'll develop your focus. And then, it doesn't matter your nose or your mouth. It doesn't matter. Yeah. The big thing is just don't move around too much when you're doing it, and then just count. You want to count. Like 1, but don't count out loud. Just count. Keep track of it, and it's pretty cool because it develops your focus and your ability to become aware. That's a big thing. Then after 1,000, you stop. That's it. If you want to do 2 hours, do 2,000. But the thing is. Yeah, go to sleep after that. That's fine. What the Asians and the Chinese and the traditional Chinese medicine talk about is like the energy pathways, the meridians in the body work on a 2-hour time period. And there's 12 meridians in the body, so there's 24 hours. The energy moving from one organ system to another. So if you can do it for 2 hours, that's great. For me, I only used to do it for about an hour. Sometimes I do it for 2, and very rarely I do it for 3 hours. But what you're working with there is the energy, you're working with the energy in the body. When you do it for, an hour is good. Because after an hour, your mind probably will have calmed down or found something that works for it, and you'll find that your body's warmer. And you should check it out. I would recommend checking it out. Yeah, cool, good, great, right on. That's awesome. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, I did a lot of laying down meditation also. You can do it on your knees too, yeah. But you don't want to be stiffening your muscles. You want to be relaxed. So if you can be on your knees, if you can do it on your knees and be comfortable, and not like your knees aren't going to burst or anything. It'll develop the flexibility in your knees if you sit like that. But it might also start to bend your tendons, and your bones might start getting warped if you. You can sit on a pillow. That's another thing you could do. A lot of people who have been doing yoga a long time, and when they do yoga a long time and they do the positions wrong, like if they do headstands and they put their head on the ground, then they start messing up their neck, And if they've been sitting on their knees a lot and their knees are coming out, but they're sitting between the knees on the ground, that'll mess up the knee, And if you're sitting cross-legged in the Indian position and you do that a lot, that'll mess with your tibia, I think, in the fibula. It'll, Hey, Mello, what's up? So switch the position, and the big thing is you're not going to do it for years. You're just going to do it enough to where you can become awake in your dreams, and then have an out-of-body experience. If you want to lay down and meditate, use some kind of music that'll help you stay. That can keep your mind active while you're relaxing. If there's some kind of verbal guidance or some kind of storyline that you're following when you're laying down, that's good too, because then it's not like something that it'll keep your mind active. Okay, so I'm probably going to be on another 10 minutes. The energy body, what questions do you have about the energy body? Because I can just go through what I know and have experienced. So I've been out of body, right? And when you get out of body, usually a lot of times people will end up in their astral body. And then you can turn around, you can look at your physical body. And the reason, what do you know? I'm mostly interested in any knowledge. Okay. Well, check out YouTube or Google chakra, Chakra, chakra. The Hindus and a lot of traditions around the world talk about the system of chakras, where they're energy centers. There's one at the forehead. There's a major one at the throat. There's one at the heart. There's one at the just below the belly button, and there's one at the root chakra, and there's one at the second or sexual chakra. And a lot of different traditions talk about those main chakras. And then if you get out of body and you look back at the physical body, the reason you can see the physical body is because each cell in the physical body has, the crown chakra also. Each cell in the physical body has an energy pattern to it also. And the Hindus would talk about that as the nadis, and the Nadi, nadi. And also, I've turned around and I've seen all the energy, all the little dots all over the body, like over 1 million, maybe over a billion. I've seen all the nadis of the body, and if you know about Carlos Castaneda, he talks about astral stuff and other kind of energy kind of stuff in a different way also, and he calls it seeing. And there's for what I've labeled, what I've talked about also, what I personally like to call it is I can feel energy, just by looking at someone's body and stuff like that. So, and if you want to develop the ability to feel and to have more kind of energy stuff, I recommend going to the center of the earth out of body. When you get out of body, have your intention of going to the center of the earth, because what happened for me in the months after going to the center of the earth was when I'm in my physical body, like right now, I can sense energy anytime, all the time, and one of the things about that, when you develop that ability, is that you have to learn not to be connected. You have to disconnect. You don't want to go around looking at everybody's chakras and feeling how their energies are moving, because when you do that, you get entwined in their energy, and then you have to learn to disconnect. So. What else do I know? The traditional Chinese talk about the meridians, and it's very complicated. So a book you read called An Experiment with Time, and he discussed how to use your dreams in order to see the future. Yeah, okay. You're reading a book by Robert Bruce also called, that's awesome. Let me read the rest of what you said there. Okay. Great. Robert Bruce is cool. He wrote the book he wrote, and he does a lot of interactive stuff, I think, online also. He was more detailed than I was looking for when I was getting into that stuff. But the little I've owned this book also. The little that I read was very detailed and good stuff. Cool. Yeah, they won lottos, and yeah, you can. Going into the future or the past, what some people like Jane Roberts, who was channeling Seth, talked about was that there's many probable realities, meaning there's many potential things that could happen. And some people even say that, there's many universes that you could go into, many timelines or many probabilities that you could go this way and somebody else who's with you currently could go a different way in their reality, physically, and that there's multiple physical realities. I don't know about that, but it's an interesting concept. The idea that you could see a probable reality, you have to also keep in mind that if you start using kinesiology and muscle testing to sense what's the probable reality, or if you have an out-of-body experience or some kind of intuition or some kind of something where you can see something happening, you have to know that you have to use your intelligence, because there's many probable realities, and you don't want to start basing your life on what you saw or spending money on a certain outcome, because things can change all the time. It's just a probable reality. I've also seen stuff in the past, a few times, and I don't know if it's true or not. Could you explain how you went to the center of the earth? Okay. Yeah, okay. Mellow. So when you get out of body, you can have a destination already planned, or when you get out of body, you may not see anything, but when you initially get out of body, you can kind of sense, or you can feel around in the darkness or in the void or the creative space. In that space, when you get out of body, you can just kind of turn and see if you're getting pulled in any direction. So when I got out of body, I already had the intention of going. I already knew that was one of the places I wanted to go. So you don't have to consciously know how to get someplace. You just have to know that you want to get there, because your body's connected with everything in the universe, and your mind, your larger mind knows how to go places already. So if you just say, I want to go there, your intention, you'll get there. You'll be okay. So when I got out of body, I said to myself or whatever that I wanted to go there, and I started getting pulled in a direction, accelerating very fast. I was accelerating, and then the direction changed, and I was accelerating again toward what was ended up being this, from what I believe was the center of the earth. And these changes in directions when you're accelerating, I believe maybe that's some kind of like an earth grid or some kind of energy pathway that I somehow ended up on. My intention took me there, and then when I got to the center of the earth, it was like I was in a large area of darkness, but there were some things down there that were kind of swirling. And when I rotated, when I turned a little bit, it was like I was on a magnetic grid. So imagine that there's like a tour. Imagine you got to the center of the earth, this giant magnetic and gravitational point, and you were able to rotate, just like you would hit. I guess you would hit some metal or iron with a hammer, and you would kind of magnetize it. I believe that's what happened for me. I kind of got magnetized. Because when I got back to my physical body, after you get back from out-of-body or astral experiences or some kind of out-of-body travel, a lot of times I've brought back energy, and my physical body would be kind of energized, depending on the place and the experience I had. So I believe when I got back from that experience, I brought that also, The last encounter you had wasn't good. I told him he couldn't hurt me. Yeah, Chicago Realty. So it sounds like you've had an out-of-body experience or some kind of experience. Well, you go through those kind of things. I was being electrocuted. Well, that's cool. That's kind of you woke up. Okay, so Chicago Realty, was that a dream or was it like an out-of-body experience? Yeah. So was that what kind of experience was that for you? Was it what body were you? Okay, you're not sure. Okay. Have you ever had an out-of-body experience? And known that it was a real out-of-body experience? Okay. Yeah, but have you ever had an out-of-body experience? Like a clear cut, you knew it was. Yeah. Because I've had lucid dreams and they were very real, but and I might even label them an out-of-body experience. But if I didn't remember leaving my physical body, going out, doing something, coming back, remembering coming into my physical body, and then writing it down, I would journal. I would call it an out-of-body experience. I had an experience one time out of body where you've had an out-of-body experience. That's one out-of-body experience. That's cool. So was your perception of that other experience, that negative experience, your clarity while you're in the experience, was it the same as your one out-of-body experience? Because when you get out of body, for me, a lot of times it's more real than here, I had an out-of-body experience one time where I was reading a book. I've talked about this before, when you saw your body. That's cool. One time I found myself out of body. I know it was out of body, and I was reading a book in these other. You touch your body and you were immediately pulled back in? That's cool. That's cool. That's awesome. So what triggered that experience for you, where you were out of body? Was it you just found yourself? Had you known about out-of-body experiences before that? Or was it just something new and kind of changed your whole reality? Oh, wow. That's awesome. within 3 days you were able to have an experience. Oh, that's awesome. Cool, good for you. Well, just keep at it. You know, I had some when in my first year of out of body experiences, it took me a while to have out of body experiences, and cool. Yeah, having tasks to do is great. One time there was this being that was chasing me, and instead of running from it, I just turned around and I went to hug it, you know. And this dark being turned into a beautiful lady, and it changed. So I don't know if that could happen for you. Another time I've had people pulling me, you know, kind of like your experience there, and it was just a bad experience. And when I got up, I was relieved to be back in my body. But if you just keep at it, you're going to have a lot more different kinds of experiences. And for me, all my negative experiences are less than 1% of all my out-of-body and other kind of experiences. So you're going to have a couple bad experiences, you know, that's just the way it is. When I'm paralyzed, to visually see myself somewhere else. Yeah. That's just, you know, that's the way that's just how it is. You know, there's bad beings out there. And I guess to have the good stuff, you have to get rid of you have to work with the bad stuff too. You know, there's kind of a saying, like, if the floor in your house is dirty, you're gonna have to sweep it up, and it's gonna get a little dusty. But once you get the dust out, it's gonna be clean. You know. So in the same way, you're starting to go out of body, and the more you get familiar with this stuff and work with it, you know, the more of the crap you can get out, and the better experiences you can start to have. You know, and that's what I would say about that, you know. Interdimensional, you know, interdimensional doesn't mean, you know, you gotta know that we all have all these bodies over us. Like, we're in our physical body, but we also have an energetic, etheric body. We have an astral body. We have all these different, we have a mental body, we have a causal body, and then the larger and larger, many octaves of bodies over and through us simultaneously. And we're in all these different dimensions at once. So, you know, they don't have any more power than you do, and they probably have less power than you do because you have a physical body. Maybe they don't even have a physical body. You know, maybe they're not incarnate, and the fact that you have a physical body means you're more powerful than them. You know, so out of body, no one's more powerful than you are. You know, because the power you give yourself is the power that you have, you know. So. Okay, so electrocute. Okay, so what I was saying is, I found myself out of body one time, and I was reading a book. And when I told myself I didn't know how to read the language that I obviously was reading, I found myself reading this language out of body. I told myself I don't know how to read the language. I got a big shock, and then I was back in my physical body. So it's probably when the being touched you. When the being, well, he really didn't. Yeah, he didn't. You're still alive, right? So the association you gave to the action of them reaching toward you. The power you gave to it gave it power. That's probably what I would say about it. Just like if you want to go through a wall while you're out of body and you don't believe you can, you won't be able to go through the wall. But if you believe you can go through the wall, you give yourself the power, and you can go through the wall. You can reach your arm through the wall. You know, you can jump through the ceiling. You can go to the center of the earth. If you believe you can. You know, if you don't believe you can when you're out of body, then it won't happen. Just yeah, okay. One time, I've never been out of body and looked at my astral body in a mirror. I've been out of body I've been out of body, and I've found myself in another physical body. And while in that physical body, I've looked in a mirror. And I saw one time I was in an Asian man's body, and he was obviously drunk, but I guess he checked out we were overlapping, and I was in his physical body, and I was alert. I was alert of being out of body, and I was kind of exploring, and I looked in a mirror, and it was an Asian man's body. Yeah, but I've never. I've also been out of body and seen all the energy around my physical body, and I've also been out of body. I've been simultaneously in two bodies while being out of body, and I've looked at my astral body from that other body. So it's possible to look at your astral body from another body. Cool. You were 7 feet tall. That's awesome. Were you the vision, the image that you saw of yourself? Was it you just taller, or was it you in like a different body, in a different form? That's interesting. So it sounds like you've had more than one experience, Chicago. It was in a different form. That's awesome. You should. Have you ever drawn any pictures of that? Because that's some cool stuff. I'd be interested in seeing some of that. It's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, you have a diary. That's good. Well, if you ever feel like sharing some of that, there is a put a link, and we can share it with other people. Whatever you want to do. It's your stuff. So, all right, go for it. Go for the lotto. That's good. Okay. So Mela, you have a book by Robert Bruce called Astrodynamics, and it goes over chakras and energy bodies with out-of-body experiences. Yeah, okay, because I didn't read the full comment that you made a while back about that. Okay, Mello, you wants to see a really good artist project and take down drawing of some entities they saw. There's, I think Robert Gray, he does different, I think he does ayahuasca and a bunch of other stuff, but he does energy drawings also. And I've seen a few different people with, I'm looking at the comments here. I've seen a couple of people who have done kind of drawings of entities. Good artists do stuff like that. If you find some of those people, post the links here too, or on some of the other. I think underneath this YouTube video in the description, there's some links to other areas that I've kind of created for us to communicate, and if you can post some of those links anywhere, I'm going to end the stream soon, and it's been cool talking with you guys and girls or ladies, and I created something. I created a Google Doc. Yeah, 3 steps tonight. Okay, yeah, I will. I created a Google Doc where you can. It's in the description where you can also go and post questions on Fridays and for entering out of body experiences. Okay, and for Fridays and Sundays I've been doing these live things because during the week I work, and All right, so 3 steps tonight. If you can do the sitting meditation for an hour and breathe 1,000 times, and that would be an amazing accomplishment. And then write it down in your journal. Okay, so after that, if you want to fall asleep meditating, do you have any music you can listen to if you were going to lay down and turn on? Yeah, that'd be great. Number 1, sitting meditation 1,000 times, 1,000 breaths. And in addition to that, I would say number 2 could be, now write down what happened while you were sitting in your journal. So number 2 would be journal about it.